On this third and final installment of the Big Bend saga, we'll be staying at Rio Grande Village. We're going to hike Boquillas Canyon and the Ernst Tinaja Trail. We'll take a dip in the historic hot springs and the Rio Grande. We'll even cross south of the border to a town called Boquillas Del Carmen. Then the road will take us north towards New Mexico. I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV, yeah. Well, good morning. Almost afternoon, really. It's 10:54 a.m. But, you know, we worked a little bit here in the morning, and now we're gonna go to our next destination, Rio Grande Village. We can already see the Sierra del Carmen mountains in the distance. A little hazy today. Here we are, Rio Grande Village. This one I was also able to reserve using CampNav. I'll put a link in the description. Our loop doesn't allow generators, so unless we get a lot of solar, we're gonna have to be very judicious with our power consumption. Well, here we are. This is the Rio Grande Village campground, and we are at Site 30 here for reference. My only concern with this campground, with this site, is this is a no generator zone, and it's getting hot, and there's absolutely no cell phone signal here. So if anything, we would want to do anything, we would have to turn on Starlink, which miraculously works with all this vegetation on top, but it's working great, and we're getting some solar, so it may be good. And it's a nice site, not as nice as the one we had earlier, but we even have some mountain views back there in the distance, so you know, we might hang out here later today. I mean, in the shade it doesn't feel so bad, but in the sun, you know, it's that dry desert heat. Well, we're gonna do at least one hike today, so let's get to it. Yeah, this is the view from our site. Check it out, European RV. Let's stop here first at the Rio Grande Overlook. Well, here we are at the Rio Grande Overlook. Let's check it out. Just be careful not to fall on one of these. It should be a short trek to the Overlook. I guess we can't really see the Rio Grande from the Rio Grande Overlook. However, we can see the Sierra del Carmen on the Mexican side. Actually, the hill in the foreground is the United States, and the taller mountains behind it are Mexico. Let's continue. Next, we are going to take the old Ore Road, which requires high clearance, four-wheel drive. Yeah, it should be fun. This is the reason why we got Starship in the first place, right? To be able to access places like this. Something we may not be able to do if we get a Class C. But then again, there's a time and a place for everything, and there are things we'll be able to do with a Class C that we can't do now. So, there. Oh, this is going to be a fun ride. There's a grave here coming up. Perhaps we'll stop by on the way back. Here we are, at the trailhead.
Well, as it is the case with this national park, not very well marked, the trailhead, but it seems to be this way, according to all trails.
Here we are walking on the wash, and it would seem the canyon is that way.
I'm assuming this is the trail because I saw some people coming, so but it's not very well marked. You do feel like you are in the desert with that yucca plant there. Luckily, it's right now, lucky for us that we're doing the hike. There's a little bit of a cloud cover, so because I forgot to bring my hat. But we have plenty of water, so we should be good.
And here's looking back. This part coming up almost looks man-made, like someone laid all these rock slabs here on top of each other. And there are animal droppings everywhere. I hope it is not bears. We are entering the canyon, and I love to see all these rock layers. Such beautiful layers on these rocks. This is certainly different from everything else we've seen here so far at Big Bend. It is such a diverse park. The canyon keeps getting narrower and narrower, like a slot canyon, and there are supposed to be some water holes coming up. This is it. Not the kind of water hole you would swim in. The water looks like it's been standing there for a while. The canyon keeps going farther back, but I don't know how much more I want to go. It might get a little sketchy.
Let's keep going a little bit. I had to scramble back there just a tad, but according to all trails, it keeps going just a little bit. So I'm just gonna make it to this other water hole and then we'll come back.
This one seems to be dry.
Yeah, I think this is as far as I'm gonna go.
Yeah, there's a little bit of scrambling involved in order not to fall into one of those water holes or tinajas.
Yeah, I really think this is the best part. It may get better farther down, but we're gonna start heading back. It's getting really hot. But up to here is definitely a beautiful, rewarding hike, for sure. By the way, contrary to what my shirt says, I did bring my hiking shoes.
Here's that gravesite. Let's stop really quick to see it.
We stopped here on the side of the road because there's a tomb here. Let's find out who it is. From 1932. Juan de Leon, born June 24th, 1906 in Boquillas Del Carmen, died July 19th, 1932. Quarters and dimes and even pennies. Interesting. Well, let's keep going.
Check out that view of the Sierra del Carmen. We must be really close to the campground now. Even though the border crossing is closed today, Monday, and tomorrow, Tuesday, let's stop by and see what it is like. Well, yeah, it is closed, as expected. There it is, across the Rio Grande, the small town of Boquillas del Carmen. It all begins with some beef kielbasa that we're going to slice and saute, some frozen onions and peppers, salt, black pepper, a little bit of cumin, paprika, and some cayenne pepper for good measure. We're going to mince some garlic. Vino seco, the not-so-secret ingredient, and some tomato sauce. Now let's really throw a curve here and add some frozen riced cauliflower, Let me tell you, it almost tastes like rice, but without all the carbs. I'm adding a little bit of water too.
Let's walk around a little bit.
We're going to do the nature trail. It is less than a mile and right next to the campground. Here we have some souvenirs left by folks from the other side of the river that you can buy using the honor system actually. Beautiful sunset here, and we're getting some pretty good views of the river. We're running out of daylight really quick here, but I'm glad we decided to do this nature trail. A little farther down, or up rather, we get these outstanding views of the Sierra del Carmen. What a beautiful sunset. I just wish we had gotten here a little earlier. There it is once again, Boquillas del Carmen. Hopefully we'll be able to visit on Wednesday. Let's get back to the campground before it gets dark. Tomorrow will be another day full of adventure.
Good morning. Our battery's down to 40%, so we're gonna give it a little help here. And pretty soon we're gonna get some solar, so hopefully we'll get it back up to like 60%. Well, the jacker is so dirty.
Here's the convenience store and the full hookups RV park. Maybe next time, huh? Anyway, the idea is to do the Boquillas Canyon Trail, which should be similar to the Santa Elena Canyon, also on the Rio Grande. Let's stop here by the Boquillas Overlook first.
The Boquillas Overlook.
Here we have all these crafts and souvenirs handmade by artisans from south of the border, from Boquillas del Carmen. And you can buy them here on the honor system. Very cool and very unique. I guess they just cross the river by boat in order to sell their crafts. There it is, the backside of Boquillas del Carmen. Let's continue towards the trailhead. Here we are, Boquillas Canyon Trail.
Well, we're gonna do Boquillas Canyon Trail, which is, as you saw, it's not very long, it's just a little steep, and today is a hot one, so luckily we've got plenty of water, and I think we're gonna be fine. It's supposed to have beautiful views, so let's do it. And everywhere you look, you find souvenirs from the town across the river, from Boquillas, on our system, so pretty cool. We might get something. Someone's crossing the river on horseback. That's the Rio Grande, so they're crossing from the US into Mexico.
Actually, from Mexico into the US, probably to bring more souvenirs.
Yeah, crossing from Mexico into the USA, but I'm sure they're from the town.
What a unique border this is.
Well, the beginning is this straight uphill climb here. And that's probably horse poop. Yeah, there's a gentleman selling tamales and empanadas. Very cool. Same, we're gonna go into the town across the river tomorrow, hopefully.
That's the road ahead. Here's another gentleman on horseback also selling souvenirs from Mexico.
Oh, it's looking more and more impressive, and as I always say, don't forget to look back because there's always a different view. But
I think I liked Santa Elena Canyon better, but this is not bad. Not bad at all. Had this been the first one we saw, we would have thought it was magnificent too.
we are now entering Boquillas Canyon. And this, of course, the Rio Grande. That right there is Mexico. This is the one trail I forgot to save on my All Trails app, but according to Google Maps, which I do have downloaded, it doesn't go much more further down than this.
Let's see how far it goes, which, yeah, by the way, there is no cell phone signal anywhere around here. So all research must be done in advance, and maps must be pre-downloaded if you want to use them. It looks like we're almost at the end.
It keeps going a little more. I see tracks, so people have walked through here.
Now this kind of looks like the end of the trail.
Yeah, there's a little more scrambling on the rocks on that side, but I don't think the view gets any better, so this is as far as we're gonna go. If you've gone all the way, let me know. Yeah, now heading back. Oh, Rio, Rio, right across the Rio Grande. I think this is the hottest it's been since we've been here. Oh, it feels like 100. I'm thinking of, asking one of the Mexican guys selling, tamales and stuff to lend me his horse to go across the hill. Maybe they can take us across the hill.
Such an imposing and impenetrable wall. All kinds of interesting rocks here. Some of them even look like they're shining or glowing. And here's once again our friendly neighbor on horseback, selling souvenirs. And now for the fun part, we have to go up and down the hill once again. Here we have some Mexican cows. They look just like American cows, probably equally delicious, coming to the creek to drink some water. Such great views from up here. And here we have more cows crossing the Rio Grande. Or is it Rio Grande? I know that would be the Spanish pronunciation, but please let me know. How would you say it? Rio Grande or Rio Grande?
Well, there was a gentleman selling tamales and empanadas, as I said, on the top of the hill, but we're gonna see if we can get something to eat tomorrow in town. Now we're gonna see if we can get something to eat by Chisos.
So yeah, we came by Chisos Lodge for lunch with a view. Unfortunately, they had a power outage, so the menu is very limited.
Alright, so the one unexpected thing here about this campground is that there is no generator allowed. So our battery, even though it's being sunny, with that refrigerator is a power hog. Our battery is still down to 50%. So we've been driving around the park. Basically, that's the strategy. Charging the Jackery, and I'm gonna keep that Jackery charged as much as possible. It's at 44% right now. In case of emergency, if tomorrow morning when we wake up we're at 0, at least we can plug in the Jackery and have water, Yeah, Starlink also it's a power hog, but that we know.
In 300 feet, turn right.
In any case,
Turn right, then turn left.
We're going to the hot springs.
Yes, there are some historic hot springs. I'm telling you, I think this park has everything. In order to get to the hot springs, first we have to take this 2-mile gravel road, and then there's an extra quarter mile on foot. There are several ruins dating back to the early 1900s.
Check it out, more souvenirs here. It's a thing.
Well, according to the website, it is illegal to purchase items from vendors operating on the Mexican side of the Rio Grande. Who knew?
That's where we're going, the trail. Well, here we go. It is half a mile to the hot springs. Cool, there's the post office. This used to be the post office.
All this part of the Langford homestead. So picturesque with that palm tree. This is one of several historic buildings built by Langford. The bathhouse, however, is long gone, but the post office is actually pretty well preserved. This would have been the motor court, built in the mid-1920s to accommodate for the increasing number of tourists visiting the hot springs. There are supposed to be some pictographs on the rocks, but we couldn't find them. Perhaps I was too excited to get on the hot springs, to swim in the international waters of the Rio Grande. Or perhaps I got distracted by the wild horses blocking our way.
Hello fellas, do you mind if we pass? Hello, horsey.
A little too close for comfort here. Hopefully we won't be seen as a threat.
Hi. Good horse. Yes, good horse. I thought it was gonna feel better in the shade, but it is not. It is a hot day today. Oh man.
This doesn't even look natural. And look at all those nests. That's where we're going. I see some people in the water.
Here we are. We've made it to the hot springs. It's pretty hot. That's the Rio Grande right there.
Even though it is not recommended, I'm going to cool off in the river.
This is perfect. Actually, the river feels pretty refreshing, and right here, it's not so cold. When have you ever been able to say that you're swimming right at a border? This is it. Probably technically in Mexico right now. Alright, I think we've had enough fun for one day. Well, I went back into the hot spring for a little bit, and now I think we're gonna start heading back.
One of those trap platforms.
It feels cool outside.
Wow, that was such a great experience.
Well, that was really cool. Cool experience. Actually, hot and then cool, if you know what I mean. I think this is all we're gonna do today. I was gonna do the river road, but it's getting late and anyway.
Such a change in vegetation right here next to the river. It is like an oasis. Here we have more Mexican souvenirs and what remains of the Livingston house built by one Charles Livingston. What a great way to end our day here at the Rio Grande area of Big Bend. Now tomorrow we've got one more thing, and I'm so glad we remembered to bring our passports.
Well, good morning. Guess what? We have our passports ready because today we're crossing the river. I smell bacon.
Yes, we have javelines.
Alright, let's do this. That's the border crossing right there. Oh, welcome to Mexico.
From here, it should be a short hike down to the river. And that's our ferry.
Well, here we are. This has to be like the most unique way to cross the border on a rowboat.
Well, you don't even have to row, you can just wade. In fact, some people just do that, but we opted for the $5 fare in order to remain dry.
Welcome to Mexico.
Gracias. Right, there are 4 ways to get into town. They can give you a ride in a truck. You can take a burro. or a caballo, you know, a horse. But we're just gonna walk. It's a 3/4 mile, and it's good exercise in the morning. I was really thinking of getting on one of the burros, you know, to get into town. But the thing is that, you know, they stick around with you all day, apparently, all the time. I mean, we're gonna be here for like 2 hours. But I don't feel we really need a guide. We just wanna, you know, patronize the 3 establishments in town and maybe see a little bit of the history, but that's it. So freaking cool, we're in Mexico. Calderon Springs, but we're going to Boquillas Village, still half a mile. It's a little bit of a hike. Maybe we should have taken the burro.
One thing to consider is that if you opt for the ride, the person who comes with you becomes your guide for the day. I imagine most people would prefer that, to have a guide. Being in a foreign country can be intimidating, and you may be able to get some unique insights. But we speak the language, we're comfortable enough, and we'd rather explore the town at our own leisure, without someone shadowing us all the time. The folks on the burros, by the way, are viewers of this channel.
There is Boquillas Del Carmen. Hello, burrito. Well, here we are. We have arrived at Boquillas Del Carmen, Mexico. What does a burro and a burra do? They accept PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. And they have Wi-Fi. They have Wi-Fi. That might be worth the price of admission right there.
There's no cell phone signal anywhere in town.
Hola, buenos días.
Lots of souvenirs for sale everywhere.
Let's present ourselves to Mexican immigration right here.
You gotta check in with the local authorities.
Well, here we paid $4 per person because just like in the US, we're in a national park. This is also a protected area here in Mexico. So, and now we're gonna go to, there are 2 restaurants. We're probably gonna try both. Riverview Patio or indoor. And this is one of 2 restaurants here in town. This is Jose Falcon Restaurant and Bar, and there's Boquillas Restaurant.
We decided to come into Jose Falcon first because of the views, and there's live music.
It goes like 1 margarita. No, one, at least 1. And we got some chips and salsa.
We're not really that hungry, so we opted for something light. Besides, we want to eat across the street as well, sample the local cuisine. Let's check out the view.
Here we are. There's the Rio Grande, and that's the United States over there.
That's where we're parked, across the river. And here's the town from this perspective. Not sure exactly what those ruins are down there. Very pleasant outdoor patio here at Jose Falcon. My grandmother used to have one of those.
Jose Falcon.
We're going to come back for a proper lunch later, but first, let's walk around town. Actually, I might get myself a t-shirt.
This is a historical site here, La Morena Bar and Liquor. I guess. You have to be careful because there's a lot of horse and donkey poop everywhere. This is very interesting, but let's go check out the bar.
Before the bar, let's walk to the other end of town, work up our appetite. let's step inside the small church. Very simple inside. Just a crucifix, some statues, and the painting of Our Lady of El Carmen.
It's a rooster.
Next, we'll check out the town's bar.
Oh, there wasn't a whole lot of ambience at the bar, so we're gonna try the other restaurant in town, which is very aptly called Boquillas Restaurant.
Here we have some interesting art on the wall. We're having the local brew called Carta Blanca, and we ordered a little bit of everything.
Cabrito tacos and chicken tamales and enchiladas. Well, we ate at Boquillas Restaurant, and now I think we're gonna have one last margarita at Jose Falcon. And it's like one last margarita in Mexico. Well, we're going back north of the border, and I've met 3 viewers here today in Boquillas, of all places. Go figure. Anyway, now we have that 3/4 mile hike, work off our margaritas and get on the rowboat back to the United States. Yeah, saying goodbye to Boquillas Del Carmen. But tell you what, I'd like to return someday and eat at the other restaurant, just to compare. Well, this is really out of the way, so I don't know. We're ready to take the ferry back to the USA. Oh, hello there. And here we have all the horses and burros. Crossing the Rio Grande, back to the USA. Back in the USA we are.
And just like that, our adventure south of the border is over. Now, all we have to do is go through immigration, which at this port of entry is just like a Zoom call.
We just came from there. How cool is that? And with that, we're kind of saying goodbye to Big Bend National Park. I think this is the longest we've ever stayed at a national park. At a particular national park. But this national park is so big and so remote that, what are the chances? Someday we might return here, but it's one of those that it might take us a while to come back. I really enjoyed going to Boquillas, Mexico today. That was one of the highlights for sure. Now we're going north. It's getting too hot in the south. Mexico, Arizona. Well, here we are, Davis Mountains State Park. I'm looking for the dark skies, so hopefully it'll clear up a little bit. But we also came for something else. Let me show you. Full hookups. Sometimes it is the little things. Tomorrow we're going north towards New Mexico.
On the next one, we'll visit some of the more remote parts of New Mexico, which will include Valley of Fires and the very large array. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and see you on the road. Riding in my RV.